Abra Boy Boy Che, and welcome to another iteration of the Weekly Ifascope. The Weekly Ifascope, for those of you not familiar, I know those of you that are familiar probably get terribly tired of listening to the same or similar kind of an explanation each and every week, but nevertheless, I think we owe it to those new folks to make that explanation, understandable. Because the Weekly Ifascope is a in-depth, up-close look at the events which will transpire in the upcoming week for each and every one of us. The events will be different for each and every one of us. Oh, they'll have certain similarities. Our jobs will do well, our jobs will do badly, our relationships will improve, our health will get better, then worse, etc., etc. But the way we handle them is critical. You see, in this kind of a reading, it's impossible to explain exactly what your events are going to be. That's reserved for an individual reading. But in this kind of a reading, what we can do is tell you how Arumula says you can respond to these events in a way that will materially improve the results you have for the coming week. You may have, in fact, I'm sure you do have your own way of dealing with this. You have the excitement level, you have the caution level, you have all kinds of things which through the years you have grown accustomed to using and seeing how it works, and that's how you're going to go with it. But Arumula, or the universe, has seen all these kinds of events, all these issues of money, of health, of children, job, etc., a million times from the beginning of time, has seen it impact people in all kinds of different ways, and knows how this way that it's going to happen this week needs to be handled. So my suggestion to you is give it a try. Use Arumula's way and not yours, and see how well it works out. For another reminder, it's if you haven't done it yet, contact Ifa on our site, get her email address, and tell her you'd like to be part of the Ifascope. Of the online seminars which she does, describing, explaining, reiterating, involving you and experts and herself in the field of explaining various facets of Ifa. It doesn't cost a cent. Absolutely free, no obligations, nothing's going to happen. All you need is a computer, hopefully a camera, but not a necessity, and to choose whether you want to be in the 7:15 or the 8:30 class. It's held on Wednesday evenings, and I want to tell you something. If more and more practitioners did this, we would no longer be fighting the battle of the way it used to be. We would all be on the highway towards the way it should and can be. At any rate, having gone through all of that, the gravy train comes to a screeching halt this week. After 3 straight weeks of being on path, the universe is telling us that with a very demanding Odu, the Odu being Obara, on the temporal everyday side, which tells you that you should be assertive if you're a male. If you're a female, you should be even, more assertive, demanding that which you want. If you're an Ifa priest, it means really ramp up your coverage and your way of doing things. And then you go over to the emotional spiritual side, where Rosu talks about measuring twice, cutting once. In other words, make sure of the facts. Make sure you're handling them correctly. Because if you aren't, then you're going to end up EB, which is exactly what happened here. Because the energy comes EB with OB, meaning a plethora of new opportunities in your temporal side. But Ofun, the failure to use Ifa wisdom and knowledge in implementing your plans. And the area of impact is going to be success. And here, if you needed any further confirmation, it's Irete Meiji. Irete is, if you're not initiated, allowing yourself to be driven by that which needs doing, by everyday pressures, not extraordinary ones, but everyday pressures. And if you are initiated, it means using your Ifa tools, in this case, in both your temporal and your emotional side, to rectify the situation and to get back on path. It's really pretty simple, actually, because it's an Odu which has a great many of the Ifa foundational concepts contained in it. It works very well for any Ian Ife or any Babalao, and for you as well. But it does require a vigorous application of your work and your effort. And the result of this reading, if you made nothing, no Ibo, no offering, etc., would be abject failure. But if you do the Ibo, if you select the correct Orisha, you're going to take that teeter-totter, which is like this, and you're going to go and push it back down here. So, most interesting to me is the Orisha that we go to for reconstituting our lives for this week, and that is Ella. Ella is a Orisha that most of you are not familiar with, but Ella is the Orisha that makes sure that your reasoning and that your way of doing things will result not only in your getting what it is that you want, but in you not harming an individual or the universe in any way. It's another thing we've lost a great deal of sight with. The Abo, a cigar. Take a cigar, light it, and I'm with a small handful of people whom I have made the Igba for. Nobody has, Ella. So use a representation of Ella. Use a cigar to focus yourself, to focus Ella on the week ahead, and then light a small white candle and pray for the hard work, the discipline, and the character to make this all work out in the best way for us. Until next week, love and blessings.